WLKY, this is breaking news.
Following several late-breaking stories tonight, including a life in prison sentence for a man convicted of killing a construction worker and shooting an LMPD officer. We also have late-breaking news in a Louisville murder case.
A 15-year-old boy is accused of helping cover up a Louisville woman's murder. Police arrested the teen today on charges including abuse of a corpse. Michael Bullock is charged with shooting Rachel Hughes at the Shawnee boat ramp earlier this month. Police believe that he came back with the teen to move her body into a wooded area and get rid of the evidence. Bullock faces murder and other charges. We are also following late-breaking news in a local murder trial. 4 years after a deadly ambush on the Watterson, the man who pulled the trigger learns he'll spend the rest of his life in prison.
Keyshawn Stewart killed a construction worker and shot an officer in the head. WLKY's D'Andrea Turner joins us live from the Judicial Center with those emotional moments from inside the courtroom. D'Andrea?
Like you said, Jennifer, it's been a very emotional day inside of this courtroom. Both families speaking through pain, through anger, and ultimately finding out that the jury recommended a life sentence.
I haven't heard my dad's voice in 4 years, and I heard a video the other day just so I could know that he was there. How does that make you feel?
That heartbreaking question came from Janiyah O'Bannon, the daughter of 38-year-old Fred O'Bannon, who was shot and killed in November 2021.
We would all like to know why. I don't think we'll ever be able to know the why.
On Thursday, a Jefferson County jury found Keyshawn Stewart guilty but mentally ill on every charge: murder, assault, attempted murder, wanton endangerment, and fleeing and evading police. Stewart opened fire, killing O'Bannon and critically wounding Sergeant Chris Lane, who survived. During sentencing, Janiyah faced Stewart directly, telling him to look at her grandmother.
Look at his mom. Look at her. You get to see yours. You get to smile. You get to wave at your family as I watched you throughout this whole week. You've been blowing them kisses. Where's hers?
The defense asked for a minimum of 20 years. Prosecutors pushed for life, pointing to Stewart's prior convictions and the fact that he was on probation at the time of the murder. Stewart's grandmother also took to the stand, pleading for mental health treatment.
We are asking that he desperately gets the help that he needs.
Even amid the heartbreak, both families agreed on one thing: lives were forever changed that day of the shooting.
From the bottom of my heart, I feel their pain. This is not easy for either side.
You ruined your life as well.
And this recommendation came down less than an hour ago. I was able to speak with the victim's family immediately after, his mom breathing this huge sigh of relief, and here's why.
I can now accept my son's death. His death certificate's still in the envelope. I've yet to open it because I didn't want to know. Because I felt that if I opened it, it was final. And I knew it wasn't final because we hadn't gotten justice yet. So when I go home today, I get to open it up and see exactly what the death certificate says, because I can finally accept it now.
And coming up at 6, you'll hear from the man who survived this ambush. For now in downtown, D'Andrea Turner, WLKY News.
Also breaking tonight, police are asking for your help identifying a suspect wanted for shooting 2 men in Old Louisville. Take a look at these pictures. Police believe the suspect shot the men multiple times at the 800 Tower on South 4th Street. This happened last Monday, September 15th. Both victims survived. Police shared security camera video with WLKY. You can see the man in these images who was wearing all black, running through a parking lot after the shooting. They say he changed clothes during his getaway. If you recognize this man, call the anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD.
Louisville's mayor names the city's next independent monitor. Effective Law Enforcement for All is a group that will act as the neutral evaluator of LMPD's progress on reform. The group will report directly to the new Community Safety Commission and the public in a semi-annual report. The public's first chance to meet the independent monitor is October 14th at the main library on York Street. LMPD released a statement that reads in part, "This is an important step in strengthening public safety and community trust. Independent monitoring will help ensure our efforts are measured, transparent, and understood by the people we serve.
A University of Kentucky football player is now under arrest and charged with sexual abuse. Jamarian Wilcox was taken into custody today. The 21-year-old is accused of trying to inappropriately touch a woman at her off-campus apartment last month. Court records show the victim told police Wilcox was supposed to be visiting her roommate at their apartment when he went into her bedroom instead. A protective order was filed and he was suspended from the team at the beginning of the season. Wilcox's bond was initially set at $5,000.
A grand jury will now decide whether to indict a former UK student charged in her baby's death. Laken Snelling is charged with abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. In court today, she waived her right to a preliminary hearing, allowing the case to go directly to a grand jury. Police say they found the body of Snelling's baby hidden in a closet last month. The coroner's findings on a cause of death were, quote, inconclusive. Snelling is out of jail on bond, ordered to live with her parents in Tennessee under home incarceration.
JCPS is facing a $188 million deficit, and we're getting the facts on how the district ended up in this situation. Over the last few years, there's been more than $250 million worth of increases to the budget. And during a recent board meeting, district leaders said the can was kicked down the road and left as a problem for a future board to solve. But board members say they also learned for the first time the district's cash flow will dry up by next October if nothing changes.
The concern is that we were previously assured that past investments were sustainable, and we are told now that they're not.
The board must approve a draft budget in January, so between now and then, they will be working to find solutions.
5 days ago, jockey Brian Hernandez Jr. suffered a serious injury during a race, 7 broken ribs and a lacerated liver. He's already home, and that's where sports director Kent Taylor talked with him this afternoon. Kent, it's amazing.
Yeah, hey, Rick, he's home and he's recovering on his farm in Simpsonville. And this one was scary, but Hernandez is already walking around. He's ready to tackle rehab. We sat down on his back patio while his mom and dad watched the races at Churchill Downs, waiting to watch his brother Colby ride. For Brian, he told me he knew right away that this injury was different. He tried to talk to the EMTs who pulled him off the track, but he said he'd make the sound, but nothing would come out. A collapsed lung was on his long list of injuries.
Yeah, we've been in there a few times. Riding for the last 20 years, I've hit the ground quite a few times in the past, and a few times you've known when you hit the ground and you break a bone, you kind of know it right away. But then on Sunday, it was a completely different thing, because when we hit the ground and that horse stepped on my chest, I turned over and I kind of knew right away that I had some broken ribs, but I never expected it to be to the impact that it was with the lacerated liver and the collapsed lung. You know, you just have that instant burning feeling that, you know, something is really, really bad. And in the back of your mind, you're thinking, man, I never want to ride a horse again. But then the next thought is you're thinking, oh, when can I get back up? I need to get back up as soon as possible, just because it's all we know to do is be a jockey and compete.
You heard him there. Brian said he's had the injuries before, some broken bones, but he's never been stuck in the trauma unit for 4 days. He had the 2 surgeries, one to repair his liver and one to plate 5 of his ribs. He said injured ribs only hurt when you do everything. Coming up at 6, why this injury was tougher emotionally as well, and also his timetable, yes, for a return to racing.
So glad he's okay, Kent. Thank you. Well, you can come face to face with a local legend at one haunted house this year. Haunted Popelick is at the Parklands off Taylorsville Road. It brings the folklore of the goat man to life. The legend states the half goat, half man seeks refuge for his treatment during his time in the circus. The haunted house allows you to walk right through the goat man's forest and see if you can escape his grip.
There's a lot of good haunted houses in town, but if you're looking for something based on local folklore, local lore, local, urban legends, whatever you want to call it, this is the place to come.
Haunted Popelick opens tomorrow, runs every Friday and Saturday through October 25th, and we will have information on how to get tickets on our website, WLKY.com, and our free mobile app.
And if haunted houses are not for you, you can check out Kentucky Kingdom's annual Pumpkins event. The park is decked out with thousands of pumpkins for the month. WLKY's Blakely McHugh gives us a look.
It's a pumpkin takeover at Kentucky Kingdom.
We have over 1,000 glowing pumpkins in the park.
From a light show to giant sculptures to even the food, the Halloween season is in full force at the theme park.
It's a lot of fun. This is our 4th year. It's become a fall tradition for a lot of families.
And that's because Pumpkins caters to everyone. For the kiddos, there's activities like the hay maze and trick-or-treating. And for the older ones and the adults, well, it is Kentucky Kingdom after all.
And then we have a lot of our rides that people who are thrill seekers enjoy, like Lightning Run and Wind Chaser, and then entertainment and food as well. So something to appeal to everyone.
This 60-foot light tunnel is one of the newest additions to the festival. It doesn't look like much now, but in the dark, it's pretty cool.
Also new this year are the glowing orbs near the amphitheater, but the real eye catchers are the larger-than-life pumpkin sculptures.
Yes, we have 4 of these sculptures in the park. So right now we're standing by our glowing cat. We also have our bluegrass band.
I love that
Jockey and Horace. Yes, of course, very Kentucky.
With more than a dozen photo ops and a full lineup of live entertainment, Kentucky Kingdom is the place to be to kick off the fall season. At Kentucky Kingdom, Blakely McHugh, WLKY News.
Good. Well, Kentucky Kingdom's Pumpkins opens tonight. The event runs every Friday through Sunday from now until October 26th. It is a beautiful day if you're going to be outside.
Yeah, I think we earned that sunshine
we
today.
did.
Eric Zernick is in for Jay tonight. Hi, Eric.
That is right. After 4 gloomy days through most of the week with the clouds and those rain showers, it was nice to have that sunshine and those warm temperatures return. And the good news is that beautiful weather looks to stick around for your weekend. So if you have Saturday plans, expect mostly sunny skies, another nice day overall. Temperatures getting into the lower 80s, and we'll keep that sunshine and dry weather with us. Just a little bit warmer for our Sunday, getting up to a high around 83 degrees. But you can't beat what we got out there right now as we take you outside over downtown Louisville. You can see just a few passing fair weather clouds, but lots of blue skies and that sunshine beaming down, and it's warmed things up for sure. We're up to 81 degrees right now, but that humidity very low. It's been humid the past couple days with those rain showers, but even that's now clearing up, and so that's going to lead to some pleasant temperatures this evening. Other temperatures around the metro, you can see 81 here in Louisville. We got 80 in Charlestown, but most spots are in those upper 70s, as it's 79 right now in Taylorsville. Should be a great night for high school football. We got the big St. X Trinity game going on. So just a few clouds out there. We'll be dropping quickly into the upper 60s, though, as those games are wrapping up. We'll talk more about that weekend forecast and let you know how long those warm temperatures stick around in that 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Eric. A new round of tariffs will start next week. The president is targeting a broad range of imports, including your prescriptions.
Justice, not retribution. That's what President Trump says today about the indictment of former FBI Director James Comey. More on the president's reaction to the charges next on WLKY News.
Above breaking news, on high alert, informing you. WLKY News Chopper.
This is a live look at the scene.
Exclusive view, bringing you closer to the action. Following impact weather, keeping you ahead of the storm.
Water has just overtaken the entire area.
Traffic situations, so you're on time in real time. Greater Louisville's only news helicopter. A better view everywhere you need it. That's live, local, late breaking on WLKY News.
Bryant has been in business since 1940, one of the few family-owned and operated HVAC companies in the area. We'll go to a house now and they'll say, well, you worked at my grandmother's furnace 40 years ago. You know we've earned their trust. It makes me feel good.
AI Factory Solutions from HPE can help you manage, automate, and orchestrate the entire AI lifecycle. If you're ready to build your own AI factory, we're ready to help. HPE.
Your plans, your safety, your accurate forecast to take on the day. WLKY Weather, Greater Louisville's most trusted weather team. Jay, Matt, Mo, Eric, Suzanne. 5 meteorologists, 1 mission, to keep you safe. Always watching, so you're always prepared. Stay connected with WLKY Weather everywhere you get your forecast.
Always informed, always on time. Start your day with WLKY Morning News. Connecting you to what matters. From breaking news overnight to what's happening now in your hometown.
alerting you first to impact weather, keeping you safe the whole day with My Accurate Forecast.
Avoid morning delays with live traffic updates, keeping you on time in real time. Trusted information.
Instant alerts.
Coverage you can count on.
That's live, local, late breaking with WLKY Morning News.
Every evening, stay connected, informed, and prepared. WLKY News.
Connecting you with decisions happening in your community.
So you're ready for what's next.
Informing you with breaking news alerts.
Getting you the facts. Preparing you in advance of impact weather.
So you can plan your day with confidence.
From alert to live, in the air, on the ground, in your neighborhood.
WLKY Evening News.
Everywhere.
Every story.
News you can trust.
That's live, local, late breaking on WLKY. You're watching WLKY News.
National Guard troops will be in Memphis starting next week. Tennessee's governor says 13 federal agencies will arrive in phases. Bill Lee said the National Guardsmen will not make arrests and will not be armed unless local law enforcement officials request it. He says he will not declare a state of emergency. Memphis's mayor supports the decision.
Memphis is a city that I love, been here all my life, and I want to see Memphis succeed. And I will say that success is the only option.
And the president first deployed troops to Los Angeles in early June and then in Washington, D.C. last month. Well, time is running out for Congress to avert a partial shutdown of the federal government.
Lawmakers need to pass a short-term spending bill by October the 1st to keep the government running. Democrats insist the measure must reverse cuts to Medicaid and extend health insurance subsidies under the Affordable Care Act. Democratic leaders criticized the president today for leaving Washington with the deadline looming.
Donald Trump, get back to Washington, D.C. Why are you at a golf event right now and the government is 4 days away from closing? That's outrageous.
President Trump calls the indictment, so as far as the president is concerned, the White House's Office of Management and Budget threatened mass firings in the event of a shutdown. During previous shutdowns, federal workers were furloughed but returned to their jobs once Congress approved spending. President Trump calls the indictment of former FBI James Comey justice. Comey is accused of lying to Congress and obstructing the congressional proceeding.
Our Washington correspondent, Jackie DeFusco, is at the White House with a closer look at what this indictment actually means.
President Trump says that the indictment of the former FBI director is not what some are referring to as a, quote, revenge tour. Rather, he says it's about justice.
This is about justice. He lied a lot, but this was a very important thing. He could have said, well, maybe, or I don't remember. He didn't say that. He gave a very specific answer, and then he verified it numerous times, and he got caught.
The indictment specifically accuses Comey of making false statements and obstructing a congressional proceeding. The date referenced in the indictment matches up with the congressional hearings about Russia interference with the 2016 election. In that hearing, Comey was asked whether he authorized anybody from the FBI to leak information to the press, which he denied. Now, this indictment comes just days before the statute of limitations to charge Comey was set to run out this coming Tuesday. Comey issued a video statement last night declaring his innocence and welcoming a trial.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way.
If convicted, Comey faces up to 5 years in prison. President Trump also suggesting today that others could face charges. Reporting at the White House, I'm Jackie DeFusco.
Comey is set to be arraigned next month.
President Trump says 100% of tariffs on certain pharmaceuticals will take effect next week. Experts say most major drug manufacturers either already have a U.S. presence or have announced new investments recently. The White House says the president's new policy will not apply to generic drugs, which account for roughly 90% of prescriptions filled in the United States. Many of the brand name medications used by Americans are made in the European Union. The Trump administration says EU products will be subject to a lower 15% tariff rate.
For this particular announcement, we don't feel that the effects will be very significant for the consumer or the industry. In general, though, tariffs are inflationary, and we think that prices of pharmaceuticals in the U.S. will gradually rise.
For example, you're going to see a 50% tariff on kitchen cabinets and bathroom vanities and a 30% tariff on unupholstered furniture. or upholstered furniture, and 25% tariffs on heavy-duty trucks.
Well, Israel's prime minister delivered a defiance speech at the United Nations General Assembly today. Some delegates clapped, others walked out as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu took the stage. He showed a map highlighting military blows Israel inflicted on Iran and its proxies during the last year, including Hezbollah and Hamas. And he warned the fight against Hamas, who still holds a number of Israeli hostages taken on October 7th, 2023, is not done yet.
The final remnants of Hamas are holed up in Gaza City. They vow to repeat the atrocities of October 7th again and again and again, no matter how diminished their forces. That is why Israel must finish the job.
And as Netanyahu spoke, thousands of pro-Palestinian protesters gathered nearby in Times Square, calling Israel's leader a war criminal and demanding an end to the war and an end to U.S. aid for Israel.
Now, your WLKY weather with meteorologist Eric Zernick.
It was nice to have another full day of sunshine after the gloomy weather we've had all work week long with those cloudy skies and rain showers. There was some much needed rain, but it's nice to finally get that sunshine coming back out. That's going to lead to a pleasant and quiet evening. Good news for the high school football and all the other fall events happening. And the great news is we're going to keep the sunny and dry with us all the way through the weekend. But with that sunshine, those temperatures are going to be warming back up, but it's going to be pleasant fall-like warm temperatures. It's not going to be like what we saw a few weeks ago with those temperatures in the 90s, but it will be warm with that sunshine. So looking at the next few days, we'll be back up to 81 degrees for your Saturday, 83 on Sunday, 84 by Monday, and 82 on Tuesday. So pretty much low to mid 80s with a good deal of sunshine is what we're looking at for each of the next few days with dry weather expected. So why are we looking at this next shot of some warm and dry weather? Well, another area of high pressure that has been out towards the Texas area in the upper levels is going to be building in, and when this does, it sends that cool air back up to the north, allowing that warm air to ascend across much of the Great Lakes region and the Ohio Valley. This is what's going to give us the beautiful weather all weekend long. Now, that high is going to fall apart heading into the first part of next week. We're going to get a potential tropical system heading for the Carolinas, but it looks like we're still going to be under some nice weather with those temperatures in the 80s. And then as the week goes on, as that low maybe moves inland, that cool air will try to head for us, but I think we'll still hang on to those 80s, but still a lot to figure out exactly what this tropical system ends up doing. Take you outside right now, and it's been a gorgeous Friday. You can see a few fair weather clouds over top downtown Louisville, but still lots of sunshine out there has got us up to 81 degrees. Currently low humidity, so we're drying up all that rain that's fallen the past couple of days. But as we head through the rest of this evening, those temperatures will fall back through the 70s and eventually down into the 60s with relatively clear skies. So if you are heading out later on, you might need that light jacket. Mainly clear, a cool night, 50s for everyone with some patchy fog later on heading into tomorrow. And then we got the Nulu Fest tomorrow afternoon, more sunshine, warm and dry, 81 for that high. 83 degrees heading into our Sunday, and then more dry and warm temperatures into much of next week with highs in the low 80s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Maybe just a few more clouds by the middle part of the week as that tropical system maybe sends us some of that cloud cover. As of now, though, we look to stay dry, but we'll be keeping an eye on it.
Really nice forecast there.
All right, Eric, thank you.
She lived to be 117 years old. So what was her secret to longevity? She had doctors study her life and body. What they found next on WLKY News.
Spirit Airlines in bankruptcy. You have tickets for a future vacation, so what happens if they suddenly shut down? You have rights. Rawson reports, reading the fine print to get your money back.
And let's take a look at the lottery jackpots. Tonight's Mega Millions is $474 million, and tomorrow's Powerball, $145 million.
Exhaustipated. When you're tired of your backed up gut and you need fast relief. New MiraFast works naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes. New MiraFast acts faster, works gently.
Well, it is a family business. My father, me, my two sons, then 4 boys following them. We're here 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. We never charge overtime, and we'll always be here when you need us most.
The world is focused on the possibilities of AI, but what do you need to focus on? Your data. Because without it, there is no AI. With the right partner to help make your data AI ready, you can uncover hidden patterns and trends, insights for better products and performance. Together, we can see more than possibilities, so you see success. Unlock promise, potential, performance. HPE. Unlock ambition.
This is very much a worst-case scenario that you don't expect till you see it.
We're about to do something that we've never trained to do exactly.
The people on the bow, we don't have contact with them anymore.
And all of a sudden, there was this loud kaboom. This is something that you don't see in real life. You only see it on television.
Every second counts in these unbelievable rescues.
Streaming now, only on Very Local.
Get ready for an all-new season of Chaos and Kindness.
Oh my God, oh my God.
We find all new ways to spread kindness. Don't miss this epic new season of Chaos and Kindness. Streaming on Very Local.
Above breaking news, on high alert, informing you. WLKY News Chopper.
This is a live look at the scene.
Exclusive view, bringing you closer to the action. Following impact weather, keeping you ahead of the storm.
Water has just overtaken the entire area.
Traffic situations, so you're on time in real time. Greater Louisville's only news helicopter. A better view everywhere you need it. That's live, local, late breaking on WLKY News.
I had no idea what we were in for.
You could hear people screaming.
We're gonna die the night before our wedding.
It was catastrophic.
Only on Very Local.
Right now, let's take a look at the numbers from Wall Street. The Dow closed up nearly 300 points. The Nasdaq was up 99 2/5, and the S&P 500 was up 39 points. Now to a new Rossum reports, Spirit Airlines is battling bankruptcy.
So what does that mean for you? If you have a ticket and the airline goes under, Jeff Rossen read the fine print to get you answers.
Spirit is in bankruptcy, but you already have tickets for a vacation. What happens if they go under? You have rights. It's called the Fair Credit Billing Act. If you pay for a flight and never get it, the law says that's a billing error. That means you can dispute the charge with your credit card company. You just need proof of purchase, like your itinerary, and they have to investigate. If they rule in your favor, you get a full refund within 90 days. And here's the other good news. While they're investigating, you don't have to pay for that charge, and they can't shut off your account. But if you paid with a debit card, you don't have nearly the same protections. That money is pretty much gone. Maybe your bank refunds you, maybe not. But the bottom line is use a credit card for travel. It is your safest bet. Back to you.
And you have less than a week to pick which stamp the U.S. Postal Service should bring back for reprinting. It's all part of the Postal Service's Stamp Encore contest, where you can decide which of the 25 stamps should be reprinted. The Postal Service created the contest as a way to celebrate the nation's 250th anniversary. You can vote online, and you have until midnight Tuesday to cast your ballot. The winning stamp design won't be announced until May of next year.
When a Spanish woman died at 117, she left behind her secrets for a long and healthy life. Maria Brañas Morera was the oldest person in the world when she died last year. She was born in San Francisco, but lived most of her life in Spain, surviving 2 world wars and 2 pandemics. She had 3 grandchildren, 13 great-grandchildren, and one of her last requests was that doctors study her life to find answers about her longevity. They say it is partly in her genes and partly in her healthy diet, which included fish, olive oil, and lots of yogurt.
There are many reasons why she lived that much and with good health. One possible component relates to diet, of course. She ate 3 per day, not 1, it's a 3 per day. At the end, it reduced inflammation, and chronic inflammation is one of the main causes of aging and disease.
And also, she was never a smoker or drinker.
Coming up, an Indiana high school student in the hospital with second-degree burns that she suffered at dance practice. How her parents are calling for an investigation.
And putting pressure on state leaders, why Metro Council believes reopening the local juvenile justice center will tackle youth violence. Next on WLKY News.
November 7th, 1996.
Firefighters are dwarfed by the wall of flames. All anyone can do is watch, wait, and wonder what this fire means from a small community that's made a way of life from the bourbon burning in its warehouses.
It remains the worst tragedy to ever hit the industry.
Kind of felt helpless, you know.
They don't expect what happens next. Bourbon Blaze, the night that tested America's spirit. Only on Very Local.
Is your AC not cooling? Call us in the morning. We'll be there today. That's right. For the fastest response time in town, call Bryant this morning. We'll see you today. Bryant Heating and Cooling. We're always here when you need us most.
With the right partner to help make your data AI ready, you can uncover insights for better products and performance. Together, we can see more than possibilities, so you see success. HPE, unlock ambition.
Always informed, always on time. Start your day with WLKY Morning News. Connecting you to what matters. From breaking news overnight to what's happening now in your hometown.
Alerting you first to impact weather, keeping you safe the whole day with My Accurate Forecast.
Avoid morning delays with live traffic updates, keeping you on time in real time. Trusted information.
Instant alerts.
Coverage you can count on.
That's live, local, late breaking with WLKY Morning News.
Milwaukee police say 19-year-old Sade Carlina Robinson vanished Monday.
Something was off.
A gruesome discovery.
We were fearing the worst.
He remains in custody. The trial is now scheduled to start the week of Memorial Day.
This was just the beginning of her life.
Only on Very Local.
You're watching WLKY News.
When stuff happens like this, we have to stand up.
New at 5:30, why some Indiana students ended up burned and blistered while at band practice.
And before he escaped jail, he was caught in Louisville. He was charged with attempted murder. Hear from the family of a man who says Jerry Cooper was hired to kill their dad.
But first, calls to reopen Louisville's Youth Detention Center grow louder. Recent measures on a state and local level are sparking more conversations around the downtown facility, which closed 6 years ago.
Metro Council is now pressuring Kentucky's top leader to get it up and running. WLKY's Alexis Matthews explains.
Work is underway to reopen the state-controlled Louisville Youth Detention Center that closed its doors in 2019. But the estimated reopening deadline in 2 years is too long for Metro Councilman Kevin Bratcher.
They need to double or triple their efforts and get that open. We need a juvenile detention center today. And they're saying 2027. And it's ridiculous.
The Metro is in crisis with youth violence, and young offenders who are charged are often released on home incarceration or transported far out to facilities in other counties. These complexities led Metro Council to pass a bipartisan resolution that Bratcher sponsored, urging Governor Beshear and other state leaders to expedite the process.
I can't imagine why it couldn't be open next year. The money that we're putting in already.
But Beshear's focus during his Team Kentucky update Thursday was on more sweeping improvements to Kentucky's other youth jails. He issued emergency regulations for medical and mental health care for youth in isolation.
It'll also mandate all DJJ staff are trained on this new policy and that isolation isn't excessively used.
Here's emergency orders, please do your job, is ridiculous. I wish he'd put an emergency order in getting this detention center fixed ASAP.
In addition to city officials, community leaders question the priorities when it comes to Kentucky's youth detention centers.
Political leaders are aware that trauma is a basis or a root cause to what's happening with our youth. Why aren't we just as invested in getting to the neighborhoods and the communities?
Harm reduction expert Sharita Walden believes in equitable investments. She says juvenile justice centers are needed, but so are proactive community resources to deter the life of crime that will land a young person there.
You give people options, then you allow them to make the decisions.
In Louisville, Alexis Matthews, WLKY News.
Thank you, Alexis. And Bratcher says money is there to reopen the facility, but the building's disrepair is stalling that process. Governor Beshear, during the Team Kentucky update, acknowledged that the state is working on it.
New details tonight about why escaped inmate from Ohio was in jail to begin with. Jerry Cooper was arrested in Louisville this week after escaping from the Brown County Jail near Cincinnati. In court documents, police say Jerry Cooper and Michael Fight were paid to kill a man. Investigators say back in February, security video shows Cooper outside of the victim's house. The children of the man shot explain why they think the hit was ordered on him.
A couple months before my dad was shot, he told me that if anything happened to him, I knew who did it. And that was in regard to George. George hired Jerry Cooper and Michael Fight to harm my dad because my dad had been seeing his ex-wife.
The victim's children say that he is recovering and already back at work. The two other suspects in the murder for hire plot are in jail with court dates next week.
The body of a Kentucky college student was found this morning in a Texas lake. Peyton Hughes went missing on Wednesday while practicing with the Campbellsville University bass fishing team. Authorities announced in a social media post that the 21-year-old's body was found in a reservoir along the Texas-Louisiana border. The sheriff's office also said Hughes's body was found near the location where his kayak was discovered. An autopsy will be performed. Police are also investigating after a body was found in a wooded area near a northern Kentucky Kroger. Police say they think the remains were there for at least several months. Bellevue police say that the body was found near a trail in the woods. Officers are now reviewing open missing persons cases to see if they can identify the person. A cause of death will be revealed after an autopsy.
Several parents in Indianapolis are upset after they say their daughters suffered severe burns while at a school dance practice. Now, we want to warn you, some of the images may be disturbing. The teens told their parents that they were forced to do bear crawls on a hot track. Now at least 2 girls have burns and blisters on their hands. One girl says that she was told to do extra because of her grades. A week later, and she's still in the hospital recovering.
I really just want to know what made you think that that was okay on an 86 degree, 87, 9, whatever degree weather day, that it was okay to have them doing bear crawls.
This isn't discipline. It's child abuse. When you send your kids off to school, you expect for them to come home safe.
Police now say they want accountability and changes from the school. The school said in a statement that they are investigating. The Indiana Department of Child Services has also been contacted about the situation.
Well, check out this scene in Missouri. 4 people were taken to the hospital after a school bus slammed into a building. Surveillance video shows the impact in the upper right corner there. Here it is again. Police say the bus had the right of way. Another car didn't yield, causing the bus to jump a curb and crash.
And there's the bus.
I said, wow, how crazy is that?
Like, these are all the people jumping out to help the bus.
Dirt, and they almost hit the gas line. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Only minor injuries. That was God watching over those kids today.
Well, the building remains closed until structural engineers can see what can be saved.
An off-duty firefighter in Louisiana helped save the life after a fiery crash. Now, this is video from crews as they responded to the crash. It was on I-10, not far from the Mississippi state line. They put out the fire, but the driver was saved thanks to an off-duty firefighter who saw the accident happen. Andrew Nixon says he mentally flipped a switch and just ran to check on the driver.
I seen the flames start coming into the car, so I knew that I had to get her out like right then and there, or else, you know. And I grabbed her, and somehow, by the grace of God, I literally just lifted her up, pulled her out, brought her to the side, and in the photo you can see that I'm talking to her. That's seconds after I pulled her out. Like, I mean, literally, like, she had seconds before that car was fully engulfed.
The driver was flown to the hospital and is recovering now. Nixon suffered cuts on his hands when he broke the windshield of the car. He is expected to make a full recovery.
Today marks 1 year since Hurricane Helene devastated the southeast. The storm made landfall in Florida's Big Bend region as a Category 4 hurricane. It moved into Georgia as a Cat 2 hurricane early the next morning. Helene weakened to a tropical storm as it pushed toward the Carolinas and across the Blue Ridge Mountains. The North Carolina city of Asheville was especially hit hard. At least 250 people across 6 states died in that storm. Helene was the deadliest hurricane to hit the U.S. mainland since Katrina in 2005.
And we have another new name system just earlier this afternoon that could be heading for the Carolinas, that could bring another heavy rain event to the same spots that were hit by Helene. I'll talk more about that in my full forecast. But as for us here locally, we're just going to be dealing with some warm fall-like temperatures the next few days as we look at your high temperature trend here through the weekend and into next week. Average this time of year is upper 70s. We're going to be a little bit above that, pretty much in the low to mid 80s the next several days. So some nice looking weather to round out the month of September. Outside right now, we got temperatures here 81 in town, but most other spots across the region in the mid to upper 70s. It's 78 right now in Springfield and E-Town. We got also 78 degrees in Salem across the river in southern Indiana. For this evening, it looks to be a pleasant one. Just a few passing clouds will be in those 70s, but temperatures will be cooling off late, and those will continue to drop through the overnight hours. Look at these temperatures by tomorrow morning. I'm going upper 50s here in town, but some outlying communities easily could drop into the mid to low 50s. So some nice cool temperatures to get our weekend started. You can go ahead, open up those windows and let that fresh air in tonight. We'll talk more about the beautiful weekend. And as mentioned, I'll update you on that latest system in the tropics and what it could mean for us in that 7-day forecast.
All right. Thank you, Eric. It is a huge high school rivalry, St. X versus Trinity. And of course, it is our game of the week. We're live next.
And going for gold at the Winter Olympics, why there's hope the U.S. men's hockey team could win gold for the first time since the Miracle on Ice. Next on WLKY News.
Exhaustipated. When you're tired of your backed up gut and you need fast relief. New MiraFast, naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes. New MiraFast. Acts faster, works gently.
Bryant has been in business since 1940, one of the few family-owned and operated HVAC companies in the area. We'll go to a house now and they'll say, well, you worked at my grandmother's furnace 40 years ago. You know we've earned their trust. It makes me feel good.
Conceal and Perfect L'Oreal Skin Tint Stick. Crafted in Italy, shades for every tone.
Pair ambition with AI, and almost anything is possible. Make your most ambitious ideas into your greatest successes with hybrid cloud AI solutions from HPE. HPE, unlock ambition.
It's illegal to modify the suspension on a vehicle. A lowrider is making a statement.
We believe that cruising is not a crime.
We're going to stand up for our rights.
Only on Very Local. Always informed, always on time. Start your day with WLKY Morning News. Connecting you to what matters. From breaking news overnight to what's happening now in your hometown.
Alerting you first to impact weather, keeping you safe the whole day with my accurate forecast.
Avoid morning delays with live traffic updates, keeping you on time in real time. Trusted information.
Instant alerts.
Coverage you can count on.
That's live, local, late breaking with WLKY Morning News.
November 7th, 1996.
Firefighters are dwarfed by the wall of flames. All anyone can do is watch, wait, and wonder what this fire means for the small community that's made a way of life from the bourbon burning in its warehouses.
It remains the worst tragedy to ever hit the industry.
Kind of felt helpless, you know.
They don't expect what happens next. Bourbon Blaze, the night that tested America's spirit. Only on Very Local.
The 20-foot wall of water came crashing through the gorge.
Really thought I was just going to drown in my own house.
No part of my life is the same as it was before Helene.
Streaming on Very Local.
You're watching WLKY News.
All right, it's here. Rivalry that dates back to 1956. St. X and Trinity meeting for the 94th time.
WLKY's Brett Del Barba joins us now live from L&N Stadium with a preview. Hi, Brett.
Hey, Rick, it's a Friday night showdown at L&N Stadium. St. X and Trinity didn't get a chance to play here last year after remnants of Hurricane Helene moved through the area, ultimately moving this game to Saturday at St. X. This year, it's back on the Cards turf. Players getting the opportunity to play on a Division I field. Hands down, one of the best and biggest atmospheres of their high school careers. There's so much leading up to this game all week long. Both head coaches saying controlling those emotions that come with this game are going to be the biggest key.
You got to keep your composure in games like this. There is a
factor of getting too jacked. You want to be able to control your emotions when you go in there, and that's what's critical.
You remind them to keep important what is important, and what's important to us is being able to focus and prepare to be at our best on Friday night, and we can't get caught up in what everybody else at home or the community or at school are caught up in, because that's not going to produce anything productive for us on Friday night.
I'm really glad that the kids are going to get a chance to play in the stadium. Didn't last year, and that's always a highlight for these guys. So we're going to get to play in the stadium, and we're going to be motivated. There's no doubt about that.
Doesn't take much motivation when it comes to rivalry week. It's a late kickoff here, 8 p.m., but let me tell you, there's already fans filling up the parking lot, tailgating. Everyone anxiously awaiting this one. We're going to have much more on this matchup coming up at 6. Until then, live from L&N Stadium, Britt Barba, WLKY Sports.
Thank you, Britt. Other games that you will see tonight, Manual finally gets a home game on that new turf at Manual Stadium. The Crimsons host Bullitt East. Unbeaten KCD is back home to the Bearcats will host the Butler Bears, and Cal is also still perfect hosting Bowling Green. Fern Creek visits Atherton. A big one in southern Indiana is undefeated Scottsburg is at Charlestown. And for the first time ever, New Albany will be at Silver Creek. WLKY News Chopper will also be up over the Fairdale at J-Town game. PRP, our team of the week, visits Mayo, and Doss is at North Oldham.
The Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory will honor Hall of Famer George Brett. The Kansas City Royals great will receive the Living Legend Award. It's given to players known for their on-field achievements as well as their charity work. Past recipients include Hank Aaron, Ken Griffey Jr., and Derek Jeter. The Living Legend Award ceremony is in November. The Indiana Fever are back on their home floor tonight in the WNBA semifinals. They are hosting the Las Vegas Aces with the series tied 1-1. The Fever coming off a 27-point loss in Game 2. Now, Caitlin Clark is out for the rest of the season with a groin injury. Game 3 is tonight at 7:30 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Game 4 will also be in Indy on Sunday afternoon.
FIFA unveiled the mascots for next year's World Cup. Clutch, Maple, and Zayu represent the 3 host nations. Clutch, the bald eagle, represents the United States. Canada's Maple, the moose, was born to roam and traveling all through that country to connect with people and highlight the rich culture. Zau, the jaguar, hails from southern Mexico's jungles and represents the nation's rich heritage. The opening match of the 2026 World Cup kicks off in Mexico City on June 11th. The final is scheduled for July 19th at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey.
Well, while men's ice hockey is one of the most popular sports at the Winter Olympics, the United States has not secured a gold medal since the famed Miracle on Ice team in 1980 at Lake Placid. As Fletcher Mackel reports, that could change in February when the Americans take the ice in Italy.
For the first time since 2014, NHL players will skate for their countries, and that has one former standout very excited.
Yeah, this is the first goal in the NHL.
Pucks, jerseys, and trading cards, Jeff Lazzaro's home is filled with his hockey history.
Every 4 years, I bring out my ring.
That would be his Team USA ring. A Boston Bruins player in the 1990s, during his NHL career, Lazzaro was selected for the U.S. team competing at the games in Lillehammer.
I've been in some pretty big games prior to that with the NHL, but the Olympics was a different scale. Everybody's got their eyes on you.
And for Lazzaro, wearing the red, white, and blue meant more because
I grew up watching Mike Eruzione win the gold medal when I was 12 years old, and that just catapulted USA hockey. Everybody wanted to play, and I was already playing, but it just made it like, oh my God, he's from Boston, I'm from Boston. So I worked my butt off and finally got there.
The 94 team didn't medal in Norway, but Lazzaro is confident the Americans will be on the stand this winter, and here's why.
The last few years with the 4 nations, with the recent World Championships, USA won the World Championships first time in the since 1933, and so USA hockey is just exploding.
Retired from hockey since the early 2000s, Lazzaro is now a happily married father of 5 who's turned the page and has a new life away from sports. That said, he is ready to revisit an old chapter in his history.
I am dad who sells insurance now, which I love. But once that puck drops in Milan, hey, I'm hockey Jeff. So we'll be watching it. It'll make me so happy to root this team on to gold.
Men's ice hockey at the 2026 Olympics starts 5 days into the program, February 11th, and it'll end with the gold medal match being the final event at the games the same day is the closing ceremony. That's Sunday, February 22nd. On the road to Milan Cortina, I'm Fletcher Mackel.
The United States will be in Group C with Germany, Latvia, and Denmark. While groups are set, complete rosters for each team will be announced in the coming months, with the U.S. team's final roster expected by the end of the year.
Now, your WLKY weather with meteorologist Eric Zernick.
Bright sunshine returned across the region for our Friday, and that also brought with it some warmer temperatures as we have made it into the lower 80s this afternoon. And those warm temperatures are going to stick around through the weekend and into the first part of next week, along with that sunshine. So we're expecting temperatures right around 81 degrees for our Saturday, 83 on Sunday, and then we're up to 84 degrees by the time we get into the first part of next week. So yes, those temperatures are just slowly going to climb as we go through the next several days with more of that sunshine and dry weather. The reason we're going to get this sunshine is high pressure just off to our west is building in, and you can see how it's really cleared out the clouds that have been with us for the past several days. That system finally working its way off to the east, bringing the clouds to the Carolinas, along with a little bit of some rain from Columbia to the east coast down there in South Carolina. Now, what we're going to be watching is the tropics, though, as we head through the weekend and into next week. So we got Hurricane Humberto out there right now. You can see a nice defined eye starting to develop with that as it is strengthening out in the Atlantic. But the good news is that's just going to be a storm for the fishes. What we're going to have to watch is now potential tropical cyclone number 9. It's this cloud of storms developing down around East Cuba, Hispaniola, and Puerto Rico. Right now, still not looking overly that defined, but here's the latest information with that system. It's got winds of 35 miles per hour moving to the northwest at 9 with the center just off to the east of Cuba. It's expected to move through the Bahamas, and then once it gets over the open waters by late this weekend and into early part of next week, should become Tropical Storm Imelda, could become a hurricane, and then makes its way towards the Carolina coast by early next week. South Carolina Governor McMaster has already issued a state of emergency for South Carolina, as this likely is going to bring some pretty heavy rain and some strong winds as we get with that system later on. That could bring us some cloud cover for the next part of next week. Right now, though, we're just looking at plenty of sunshine, a beautiful looking day out there to wrap up our work week. 81 degrees, low humidity around just 39%. Great for high school football this evening. Just a few passing clouds, pleasant in evening. We'll drop from the 70s into the 60s and eventually upper 50s with a little bit of some patchy fog later on tonight. Plenty of sunshine expected for your Saturday. Just a few afternoon clouds gets us into the low 80s. We're 83 degrees on Sunday, and into much of next week we'll hang on to those low 80s. Just a few more clouds from that potential system as we get towards Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but we should stay dry here locally.
I mean, that looks good to me.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
Well, Barbie's dream house is coming to life. How you can stay in this life-size version. Next on WLKY News.
Exhaustipated. When you're tired of your backed up gut and you need fast relief. New MiraFast works naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes. New MiraFast acts faster, works gently.
Well, it is a family business. My father, me, my 2 sons, then 4 boys following them. We're here 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. We never charge overtime, and we'll always be here when you need us most.
With the right partner to help make your data AI ready, you can uncover insights for better products and performance. Together, we can see more than possibilities, so you see success. HPE, unlock ambition.
Above breaking news, on high alert, informing you. WLKY News Chopper.
This is a live look at the scene.
Exclusive view, bringing you closer to the action. Following impact weather, keeping you ahead of the storm.
Water has just overtaken the entire area.
Traffic situations, so you're on time in real time. Greater Louisville's only news helicopter. A better view everywhere you need it. That's live, local, late breaking on WLKY News.
The data sent a shiver down my spine.
We're gonna die the night before our wedding.
You can't prepare for the destruction that we took.
You could hear people screaming.
We're being crushed. It was catastrophic.
There's always a couple of kids that say, will you come help me if there's a tornado? Absolutely, we will.
Only on Very Local.
If you stop breathing or your heart stopped beating, there was no one to provide medical assistance.
You have a group of young African Americans, and you're going to teach them what?
Only on Very Local.
Well, here's what you could see tonight on WLKY. Big Brother is on at 8, then Fire Country at 9, and Blue Bloods at 10. Then stay with us for WLKY News at 11. Well, Rick Moranis is coming out of retirement for Spaceballs 2.
He's returning to the role of Lord Darkhelmet, a.k.a. the Star Wars spoof version of Darth Vader. Moranis hasn't done any screen acting since Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves in 1997. The Spaceballs sequel cast also includes Mel Brooks, Bill Pullman, and Josh Gad. It's set to debut in 2027. Popular interior designer Joanna Gaines is getting her own Barbie doll. The co-founder of Magnolia will be dressed in flared jeans, sunglasses, and a graphic T-shirt that bears her birth year of 1978. Pre-orders of the doll are being taken now, and they'll be available in Target stores this December. Chip needs to get a Ken doll now, won't he? Barbie fans are also finding a place where dreams come true.
Take a look. This Texas Airbnb is pink from floor to ceiling, a life-size version of Barbie's dream house. And that includes everything from walls to furniture to kitchen appliances. The owner wanted to create a space in San Antonio where guests can channel their inner child. She says many of them go for the full experience.
A lot of the women, they just let loose. They get dressed up in all of the clothes that we offer. And they'll run around here in the Barbie dresses, all the Barbie clothes. Yeah, it brings a lot out of the women and the little girls especially.
And even the backyard is part of Barbie's world with a setup straight out of Malibu.
Spending millions more than it's bringing in. As JCPS facing difficult decisions, we get the facts on how the district plans to address the budget crisis. That's next on WLKY News at 6.
Mirajoy, the overwhelming relief after Miralax helps you go. Miralax works naturally with the water in your body. Miralax, free your gut to free your mood.
For more fiber per serving than any other gummy, try Mira Fiber.
Is your AC not cooling? Call us in the morning. We'll be there today. That's right. For the fastest response time in town, call Bryant this morning. We'll see you today. Bryant Heating and Cooling. We're always here when you need us most.
The high-quality industrial products you need. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ambition doesn't accept limits. It drives us to make connections and see potential. Pair that instinct with the power of AI, and almost anything is possible. You can turn data into insights, and insights into action, making your most ambitious ideas into your greatest successes. Push past limits with scalable AI from HPE and get ready for what's next. HPE, unlock ambition.
This is very much a worst case scenario that you don't expect till you see it.
We're about to do something that we've never trained to do exactly.
The people on the bow, we don't have contact with them anymore.
And all of a sudden there was this loud kaboom. This is something that you don't see in real life. You only see it on television.
Every second counts in these unbelievable rescues.
Streaming now, only on Very Local.
Milwaukee police say 19-year-old Sade Carlina Robinson vanished Monday.
Something was off.
A gruesome discovery.
We were fearing the worst.
He remains in custody. The trial is now scheduled to start the week of Memorial Day.
This is just the beginning of her life.
Only on Very Local.
If you stop breathing or your heart stopped beating, there was no one to provide any type of medical assistance.
An ambulance was unheard of.
They analyzed how many people were dying. It was astronomical.
They would dispatch a police wagon. You were at their mercy.
We needed something to change so we could save lives. Freedom House Ambulance changed the game.
Here you have a group of young African Americans, and you're going to teach them what? How to save somebody's life? It was a bold endeavor, but it was one that changed the history of pre-hospital care.
This organization is the foundation of EMS across this country.
Only on Very Local.
WLKY News, right now at 6.
Facing a financial crisis, JCPS could be forced to make tough choices.
At the end of the day, the buck comes due, and that's where we're at.
We get the facts on how the district ended up in this situation and what the board is doing to solve it. From the winner's circle to the emergency room after a serious accident on the track.
And in the back of your mind, you're thinking, man, I never want to ride a horse again.
Kentucky Derby winning jockey Brian Hernandez Jr. talks about his injuries and what it means for his racing future. First tonight at 6, we're following late-breaking news as a Louisville man will spend the rest of his life behind bars for killing a construction worker and shooting an officer. A jury found Keyshawn Stewart guilty but mentally ill in the murder of Fred O'Bannon. O'Bannon was shot in 2021 in his work truck on the Waterston Expressway. Stewart also shot and injured LMPD Sergeant Chris Lane. Outside the courtroom, O'Bannon's family and Sergeant Lane shared emotional words after waiting nearly 4 years for justice.
It's going to take me a few days to let it all sink in. I'm glad that justice has been served. It's still hard.
This is obviously the best outcome that we could have hoped for. I'm super grateful that the jury listened to the evidence and was thoughtful in their deliberations. And again, this is what we wanted.
The jury recommended Stewart serve consecutive life sentences. The judge will officially sentence him in December. A 15-year-old boy is accused of helping cover up a Louisville woman's murder. Metro Police arrested the boy today on charges including abuse of a corpse. Police say Michael Bullock shot Rachel Hughes at the Shawnee boat ramp earlier this month. Investigators believe that he came back with the teen to move her body into a wooded area and get rid of the evidence. Bullock faces murder and other charges. Metro Police released images of a suspect wanted for shooting 2 men in Old Louisville. Take a look at these images. Police believe that the suspect shot the men multiple times at the 800 Tower Apartments on South 4th Street. This happened on September the 15th. Both victims survived their injuries. Police shared security camera video with WLKY. Now you can see the man in these images who was wearing all black running through a parking lot after that shooting. They say he changed clothes during his getaway. If you recognize this man, call the anonymous tip line. Once again, folks, that number 574-LMPD. Tough decisions are on the horizon for JCPS. The district faces a nearly $200 million budget deficit. Many are asking, how did we get here? Madison Elliott has spent the day getting the facts on this budget crisis. Madison?
Over the last few years, there's been more than $250 million worth of increases to the budget. District leaders said at a recent JCPS board meeting, the can was kicked down the road and left as a problem for a future board to solve. That future is now, and the search is on for solutions.
JCPS board members first heard the district is facing a $188 million budget deficit a week ago. The district's revenue is a little more than $1.6 billion, but expenses stand at nearly $1.8 billion. So how did they get here? The district says there are some one-time expenses totaling $118 million that have contributed to the deficit over the last 5 years, such as annual facility improvements, audio enhancement improvements, athletic field improvements, and the weapons detection system implementation. and increased recurrent expenses over the past 5 years, totaling more than $260 million, including cost of living adjustments, school racial equity funds, and expenses once funded by the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief, or ESSER funds, from COVID, but those have expired.
And ESSER gave the cash flows that allowed us to continue to become more and more undisciplined.
These were all board-approved budget actions, but at the most recent meeting, board members say they didn't have the full scope. James Craig says the May budget presentation omitted information about the 2026-2027 budget, which shows $0 in cash flow by next October if something isn't done now.
What has happened is that some of the big investments that we have made recently were made with one-time dollars. And when we were previously assured those investments would be sustainable, we're told now that they're not.
Tom Aberle writes the working budgets and says he always provided previous leadership with the full picture, but says that information didn't always make it back to the board.
Because they were reviewed by the leadership of this district before they were finalized.
Taylor Everett, who joined the board this year, says the good news, they have a year to fix it.
We've done it before. Before 2017, we had a balanced budget. We can run this district on just the taxes we have. We just got to be willing to do it.
Superintendent Dr. Brian Yearwood already implemented a hiring freeze, and district leaders say the central office will assume a higher percentage of the reductions rather than schools. And Rick, their goal is to protect salaries and the integrity of the classroom.
All right, begs the question, Madison, does the board have time to fix this?
Yes, just a little bit. As Everett said, they have about a year. The board must approve a draft budget in January. So between now and then, they're working to find those solutions. And financial leaders say next year's budget is the year they have to recover through reductions to prevent a fiscal cliff in 2027.
All right, tough task ahead. All right, thanks, Madison Elliott, for us. Drivers will need to pay closer attention to their speed in highway construction zones in Kentucky. The Transportation Cabinet is now installing the first automated speed enforcement cameras in active work areas. They will be placed in 4 locations to start, including on I-64 between mile markers 27 and 38, that's near Shelbyville. Those areas will feature warning signs and flashing lights. You can only be cited if you're pulled over. State police will be positioned in those areas when workers are present. Jockeys are built different. 5 days after an injury that would sideline most of us for months, Kentucky Derby winner Brian Hernandez Jr. is already thinking about his return to the racetrack. Sports director Kent Taylor talked with him this afternoon. Kent?
Hey, Rick, not a bad place to convalesce. A serene, quiet horse farm in Simpsonville. Brian Hernandez Jr. returned home last night, discharged after 2 surgeries as a result of his fall on Sunday at Churchill Downs. That came just 16 months after he won the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby. He wondered if he wanted to ride again. For Hernandez, his mind is now on a fast recovery and a return to the starting gate.
The broken ribs, with them being plated and stuff like that, that's not the biggest issue. I mean, I can go back to riding. If it was just the ribs and doing the surgery like I did, I could go back to riding within 2 weeks. But the biggest thing they're worried about is the liver, with the laceration of the liver, because if we re-damage the liver it could be fatal. So that's the one thing that we're really looking at is looking at the liver, that you don't want to re-damage that. So I'm going to work really hard the next few weeks with the doctors and all the rehab clinics and try to be back. I'd love to be back for Breeders' Cup if possible. You know, that's a hefty goal to try to make, but at the same time, if I can do it, I'm going to work as hard as I can to do it.
The Breeders' Cup, October 31st to November 1st. Hernandez said the difference between this injury and the others that he's had in his career was seeing the reaction from his kids. They were actually scared. He got up at 6 a.m. this morning and went into his 5-year-old daughter's room just to give her a hug, to tell her that he missed her. He said he's not sure, by the way, where he'll watch Mystic Dan race in the Lucas Classic tomorrow night, but he mentioned he might go to Churchill Downs. I was like, are you serious? He's like, well, maybe I'll Uber. My wife's got something to do, but I have a feeling he'll be on his back porch watching that race tomorrow night, but it's good to see him on the improve.
Yeah, on top of being tough as can be, Brian Hernandez is a nice guy, and we all wish him well. Thanks, Kent. Well, legalizing sports wagering has proven to be a good bet for Kentucky. The Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation oversees sports betting. During a committee hearing in Frankfort, officials told state lawmakers that nearly $5 billion have been wagered in the last 2 years. It's been profitable for the state and players who've won $4.4 billion.
In fiscal years 24 and 25, legal sports wagering has demonstrated the value of a regulated market. Kentuckians are choosing safe legal options. The state is receiving millions in new resources, and KHRG's oversight is ensuring that this market continues to mature responsibly for the people of the Commonwealth.
Sports wagering revenue has provided $73 million to the state's public pension system. Another $2 million went into the problem gambling assistance account. A former UK student returned to Fayette County courtroom today, charged in the death of her baby boy. Sam Carter is in Lexington with what came out of this morning's hearing.
Friday morning in Lexington District Court, what could have been a long and drawn-out process was instead a quick one, as Laken Snelling, who stands accused of multiple crimes, including concealing the birth of an infant and abuse of a corpse, waived her right to a preliminary hearing, instead opting to have her case go directly to a grand jury. Late last month, Snelling was arrested on those charges and released on a $100,000 bond. Now, she was in court today, but she's living with her parents in Tennessee, being monitored through an ankle bracelet. Now, maybe one note of interest today, in court today supporting her what appeared to be about 10 of her former classmates. They did decline our request for an interview, saying they were not going to talk to the media. Now, the question remains, when will this go to a grand jury? Well, the soonest it could, early October. That is when the next Lexington grand jury is scheduled to meet. We're going to have updates on this as they become available. Until then, in Lexington, Sam Carter, WLKY News.
Thanks, Sam. And according to Lexington police, Snelling's son was found last month wrapped in a towel inside of a trash bag in a closet at her off-campus home. The Fayette County coroner has not yet determined how old the baby was or cause of death. A nonprofit is selected to oversee reform efforts within Louisville Metro Police. Mayor Greenberg's office announced today the Effective Law Enforcement for All, or LFA, has been selected to serve as independent monitor. It will evaluate the progress made under Louisville's consent decree, which was developed after the Justice Department dismissed its lawsuit against the city. LFA also serves as an independent evaluator for the Minneapolis police. Challenging you to come face to face with a terrifying creature. We'll explore the legendary tales of the Pope Lick Monster at a popular Halloween attraction. That's next for you on the news at 6.
And bright sunny skies returned across the region for our Friday. You can see not a cloud over top the city as we push into our Friday evening. Looks like the sunshine's going to stick with us as we head into the weekend, but that's also going to bring with it some warmer fall-like temperatures as we head through the next several days. We'll talk about those warm temperatures and let you know when maybe some rain or clouds return to the area with that 7-day forecast.
The designers behind social media know how to draw us in.
Any platform you see influencers promoting these different brands,
there are a lot of risks. Most of these are not regulated by the Food and Drug Administration.
His muscles were just growing faster than his bones. The algorithms got you, and it'll send you more and more of these images.
Streaming now on Very Local.
Bryant has been in business since 1940, one of the few family-owned and operated HVAC companies in the area. We'll go to a house now and they'll say, well, you worked in my grandmother's furnace 40 years ago. You know we've earned their trust. It makes me feel good.
Pair ambition with AI, and almost anything is possible. Make your most ambitious ideas into your greatest successes with hybrid cloud AI solutions from HPE. HPE, unlock ambition.
November 7th, 1996.
Firefighters are dwarfed by the wall of flames.
All anyone can do is watch, wait, and wonder what this fire means for a small community that's made a way of life from the bourbon burning in its warehouses.
It remains the worst tragedy to ever hit the industry.
Kind of felt helpless, you know.
They don't expect what happens next. Bourbon Blaze, the night that tested America's spirit. only on Very Local.
Always informed, always on time. Start your day with WLKY Morning News.
Connecting you to what matters.
From breaking news overnight to what's happening now in your hometown.
Alerting you first to impact weather, keeping you safe the whole day with my accurate forecast.
Avoid morning delays with live traffic updates.
Keeping you on time in real time.
Trusted information.
Instant alerts.
Coverage you can count on.
That's live, local, late breaking with WLKY Morning News.
Every day on WLKY News.
Late breaking news right now from our nation's capital.
When news breaks in Washington.
Our Amy Lou is live in Washington this morning with more.
When it matters to Greater Louisville, you can count on our team of reporters in D.C.
Those concerns about federal Medicaid cuts are being felt here at home.
With accurate information and how it impacts you here at home.
Live on Capitol Hill tonight.
I'm Christopher Salas.
WLKY News.
Every day on WLKY News. Right now, this is WLKY News at 6.
A family-owned bakery in Louisville's St. Joseph neighborhood is receiving national recognition. Nord's was recently named the best bakery in Kentucky by the Takeout.com.
It is a very proud moment because I know that, myself and the girls up front and the guys in the back, whatever, we worked really hard. And some of the accolades that we have been able to, gain over the years, were just blows my mind that we would even be recognized. That just goes to show that all the hard work that we really, and the love that we really put into whatever, it pays off, and we're very, very proud of that.
It's famous for its donuts, but it is also offering cakes, cookies, and other baked goods. I've known the Nords for years. They are a great family. We asked customers what brings them back.
It's like a piece of history. You can't find a place like this. When you walk through, it's like going to your mom and dad's. Old-time grandma's recipes, delicious. How they used to make donuts a long time ago.
I have been coming here forever. They have the best donuts of any place I've ever been. I drive for an hour and a half to get here.
I'm here for my 50-year class reunion. But I come home, I come to Nord's because they have the best bakery in the city.
Well said, Gloria. Nord's is open every day from 6 until 2. A local haunted attraction is bringing local folklore to life. Megan Matthews took a tour of haunted Pope Lick in search of the legendary Pope Lick monster.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, the legend of the Pope Lick monster has been around for decades. And this year at Haunted Pope Lick, you can make that decision for yourself. But don't say I didn't warn you. Beware of the goat. It's one of the many haunted attractions to take part in this Halloween season. But Haunted Pope Lick in Pope Lick Park is one of the few with a local legend behind it.
Goatman was the star attraction of the traveling circus, the Shilnick Brothers Circus. They found him as a little infant, and he was deformed, and he had hooves and horns, and they took him into captivity.
Rod Whitenack, the manager at Pope Lick, says the legend continues when the circus train was heading to Louisville. Lightning struck the trestle and the train derailed. Everyone disappeared except for the goat man, who disappeared into the woods.
He is kind of here to get his revenge. And he's a supernatural creature. He has hypnotic powers and voice mimicry, and is a very dangerous creature.
And now you too can come face to face with the goat man himself in the immersive Haunted Pope Lick, where you travel through the woods to escape him.
How long does it take to go through? And really the standard answer is, well, how fast can you run?
Brian Ward, the co-owner of Haunted Pope Lick, says he and his team work year-round to create the perfect haunt.
When you add in the planning and the ideas and coming up with what we want to do, because you got to change every year to make things fresh.
Packing in everything from the circus to the cemetery. But we don't want to spoil all the fun, so you'll have to face the goat man himself.
There's a lot of good haunted houses in town, but if you're looking for something based on local folklore, local lore, local, urban legends, whatever you want to call it, this is the place to come.
Megan Matthews, WLKY News.
If this is for you, Haunted Pope Lick opens tomorrow night. We have information on how to get tickets on WLKY.com and on our free mobile app.
Now, your WLKY weather with meteorologist Eric Zernick.
And it was a beautiful Friday to wrap up our work week as the sunshine returned across the region, and that's going to lead to a pleasant and quiet evening. Looking good for all the high school football and other events happening around this evening. We'll hang on to that sunshine and dry weather through the weekend, but with the sunshine, those temperatures are going to be warming up over the coming days. As you can see, high temperatures the next couple days going to be around 81 to 83 degrees for the weekend, and we'll hang on to those low to mid 80s into the first part of next week with a good deal of sunshine. So our system that had been bringing us all the rain is finally pushing off to the east, bringing some clouds and showers to the Carolinas down into Georgia. High pressure, that's what's building in, finally clearing out the clouds and should stick around through the weekend, giving us more sunshine and dry weather. Now, we do have to start turning our attention to the tropics where things are starting to get a little bit more active. We now have Hurricane Umberto. You can see the nice eye forming with that system. Good news is this is going to stay out in the Atlantic and be a storm for the fishes. What we do have to watch is this complex, the showers and storms developing around the Caribbean, especially Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, and eastern Cuba. This is now potential tropical cyclone number 9. So here's the latest information with that system from the National Hurricane Center. Winds of 35 miles per hour. You can see the center located on the far eastern tip of Cuba is expected to move to the north over the Bahamas. Because it's going to interact with the Bahamas, should remain a relatively weak and unorganized system for at least the next 24 hours. But once it begins to lift over the waters just off the coast of Florida by early next week, should become a tropical storm. Imelda is the next name on the list. Could become a hurricane and then weaken as it's making landfall sometime maybe around Tuesday along the South Carolina coast. State of emergency has already been issued for South Carolina. Either way you slice it, this is going to be another heavy rain event throughout the Carolinas with easily a foot of rain in some locations. So flooding along with the storm going to be a big possibility. We'll be watching that very closely. Here's the latest model kind of showing it at landfall around Tuesday afternoon. You can see all the heavy rain pushing into the Carolinas. For us, it could send us just a little bit of some cloud cover, but for now, it looks like we should stay dry into next week, but we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on that over the coming days. Live look up the river here. You can see plenty of blue skies, just a few low clouds out there. Those will fade. Very nice, 79 degrees, low humidity, look very comfortable for your Friday evening. So again, looking fantastic for high school football. 76 as things get started. We'll be down into the low 70s as the night comes to an end. We'll wake up to temperatures in the 50s with a little bit of some patchy fog, especially around those river locations tomorrow morning. But lots of sunshine again gets us back into the low 80s for afternoon highs on our Saturday with just a few fair weather clouds. 83 degrees by Sunday. And then those temperatures remain on the warm side for late September in the low 80s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Again, some additional cloud cover from that potential tropical system could head our way by the middle part of next week, but overall dry weather is expected.
Wow, that's pretty nice.
Yeah,
Loving that.
Great looking fall forecast the next 7 days.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
Good for football, too.
All
right, thanks, Eric. Few games get any bigger than St. X and Trinity. We're live at L&N Stadium to preview our Game of the Week next in sports. Before we do that, let's check the lottery jackpots. Tonight's Mega Millions, $474 million up for grabs. And tomorrow's Powerball is not bad either. It's $145 million.
Exhaustipated. When you're tired of your backed up gut and you need fast relief. New MiraFast works naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes. New MiraFast acts faster, works gently.
Well, it is a family business. My father, me, my 2 sons, then 4 boys following them. We're here 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. We never charge overtime, and we'll always be here when you need us most.
Ambition doesn't accept limits. It drives us to make connections and see potential. Pair that instinct with the power of AI, and almost anything is possible. You can turn data into insights, and insights into action, making your most ambitious ideas into your greatest successes. Push past limits with scalable AI from HPE and get ready for what's next. HPE, unlock ambition.
above breaking news, on high alert, informing you. WLKY News Chopper.
This is a live look at the scene.
Exclusive view, bringing you closer to the action. Following impact weather, keeping you ahead of the storm.
Water has just overtaken the entire area.
Traffic situations, so you're on time in real time. Greater Louisville's only news helicopter. A better view everywhere you need it. That's live, local, late breaking on WLKY News.
November 7th, 1996.
Firefighters are dwarfed by the wall of flames.
All anyone can do is watch, wait, and wonder what this fire means from a small community that's made a way of life from the bourbon burning in its warehouses.
It remains the worst tragedy to ever hit the industry.
Kind of felt helpless, you know.
They don't expect what happens next. Bourbon Blaze, the night that tested America's spirit. Only on Very Local.
If you stop breathing or your heart stopped beating, there was no one to provide medical assistance.
You have a group of young African Americans, and you're going to teach them what?
Only on Very Local. The WLKY Sports Desk is sponsored by West Shore Home.
Well, they're back in the big house after weather delayed the game last year and pushed it on campus at St. X. Tonight, the Tigers and Trinity will be back on the field at L&N Stadium, and that is where we find our Britt Del Barbo with a live preview. Britt?
Kent, you couldn't ask for a better setting for a rivalry game. St. X and Trinity, two of the top teams in the state. The Tigers 3-1 on the season. The Rocks 4-1. Both of their losses coming against Cincinnati teams. When it comes to this series, the Tigers winners of 3 of the last 4 in the regular season. This year, St. X has got to find a way to stop #1 Trinity, averaging over 41 points per game, while Trinity's attention is all on Marlon Harbin, and rightfully so, the future Louisville Cardinal with 10 touchdowns in 4 games.
Our kids have had a little success against them, but it's very difficult to prepare for them because of the amount of really good players that they have on the field.
It's still the Harbin show. I mean, you know, they have 2 really quality football players with a lot of other guys that are good football players that are playing with them. Harbin and Bush both are Division I talented kids and have great size, great speed, play extremely well.
It's not just about the name and the rivalry and all that kind of stuff. Bottom line for us is to find a way to compete and against an elite team. And I think that's exactly what we know that we're going to play against.
We still got some time before Trinity and St. X kick off. It starts at 8, so plenty of time to get down here, tailgate with all of them that we saw as we came in. Plus, we're going to have highlights if you can't make it tonight at 11 on High School Playbook. Reporting live from L&N Stadium, Britt Del Barbo, WLKY Sports.
Thanks, Britt. Along with our game of the week, we'll also have Manual hosting Bullitt East, the Crimson's first game on their new turf field. If we have that, unbeaten. There it is, unbeaten KCD and Cal. They're both unbeaten. They're both home tonight as well. Atherton will look for a first win ever over Fern Creek. In Southern Indiana, New Albany and Silver Creek meet for the first time, and 5-0 Scottsburg is at 4-1 Charlestown. Plus, WLKY News Chopper will be in the air for Friday night flights over these 3 games. Britt and Preston Harvey join me tonight for High School Playbook. Here's the schedule for our college teams for tomorrow, all on the road. The Cards kick off at noon at Pitt. Number 11 Indiana is at Iowa at 3:30. Western Kentucky visits Missouri State at 7. And Kentucky, Cutter Boley in Kentucky, he gets his first road start at South Carolina at 7:45. Well, not a great start for the U.S. at the Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black in New York. The Europeans won the morning session 3-1. St. X grad Justin Thomas lost in the morning with Bryson DeChambeau, but he did pick up a point in the afternoon 4-ball session with partner Cam Young. He was excited about that putt. A dominant 6-5 win over Lucas Oberg and Thomas Højgaard. Europe, though, leads 5.5 to 2.5 after day 1. So not a great day for the Americans.
Steep little climb for them, for
sure.
Work to do. Yeah, sure. All right, thank you, Ken. And thank you for making us your first choice for news. The CBS Evening News is next. We will see you back here tonight at 11 o'clock.